circle of influence is a small circle, and circle of concern is a bigger circle. If you focus on circle of influence, which is under your control, and circle of concern are the things which are not in your control. Things which are not in your control are your circumstances, your country, international relations, so many such kind of things which are not in your control. Climate change and resilience is in your control, but climate change is not in your control. Things which are in your control, I have given you my example. I focused on circle of influence, things which were in my control. In my control was to prepare for a certain examination. And when you focus on your center of influence, your center of concern reduces gradually. Let me give you example of countries. We got independence in 1947 and China got independence in 1949. China focused on circle of influence, education, health, economy, defense, and we focused on circle of concerns. Taiwan is a very small country. It's part of China. China always claimed it's part of China. China is a very strong country. It can occupy Taiwan within half an hour. But it never did it. It never did it. Because it didn't want to distract itself. It focused on a circle of influence. With focusing on circle of influence, within 100 years, Hong Kong was in its lair. Automatically went to, nobody dared to say no. Hong Kong is now its part. And we focused on circle of concerns. We fought 4 wars, 5 wars. Kashmir is our circle of concern. We focused on that. Palestine, Chechnya, Afghanistan, all over the world. Whatever is the problem, it is our concern. We focused on circle of concern which was not in our control. In our control was circle of influence, things, education, health. We should have worked on that. We didn't work on education. We didn't work on economy. We didn't work on health. We didn't work on infrastructure, but we focused on our circle of concern. We distracted. Japan, Germany, they were completely destroyed after Second World War. But what they did, they find a space, very small space. They focused on space. And they focused on that space which was available to them. They were not allowed to have a military. They were not allowed to have an army. But they focused on circle of influence, whatever they could do. If they were allowed to develop toys, they worked on that. And they became big economies, the world economies. So that is the thing. We should focus on our thoughts. With our thoughts, we can reach to destiny. With our thoughts, or if our thoughts are positive, our thoughts are, we nurture our thoughts to the positive way, then we can act on a positive way. We can develop habits, positive habits, build our character. Based on that character, we reach to our destiny. We reach to our goal. We can achieve things. And the leaders around the world, they focus on their thoughts, their mental processes. If you have a negative thinking, if you say, I can't do it, I am unable to do it, you will never be able to do it because your mind will stop thinking on solutions. Immediately it will stop thinking on solutions. But if you say, I can do it, I should do it, how can I do it? your mind will start thinking about it. Your mind will start finding solution how to achieve this goal. Thank you very much.
Masters and distinguishes, thank you so much, General Evaluator, for a very warm introduction. Toastmasters and guests, today once again, Toastmaster Saad Raja has amazed us with a wonderful speech. Well, I think that it needs a lot of courage to choose for a topic which has very deep meaning and at the same time have many dimensions, because you have to cover all these aspects of deepness and dimension in just all period of 5 to 7 minutes. And we saw and we witnessed that Toastmaster Saad Raja did it wonderfully. Toastmaster Saad Raja, you started your speech with a personal story. In 1991, you won a case from Supreme Court. Not exactly starting at the same, but you came very early with your personal story in your speech. And you informed that how you won the case, and that put you into kind of a family stress that now you have to take possession of that particular piece of land. Anybody who has a rural background, who can very easily link to that kind of a situation. You are working and you have legal authority to have the possession of the case, but then here comes the actual topic, here comes the meat of the speech, and that was center of influence versus center of concern. You have to focus on center of influence, not the center of concern. And by giving a personal example, he has been able to demonstrate what is exactly the difference between center of influence and center of concern. And at the same time, how he has been able to manage and has been able to exhibit that how he has focused on the center of influence. So what exactly is the difference? Small circle is the influence. Under control, you can really control all the parameters of center of influence. Vis-a-vis center of concern, a bigger area, you don't have the control of all the ingredients of that thing. Too early? Okay, green card. Okay, so then Toastmaster Saad Raja, you came up with so many example of how to influence and concern. If you talk about China and Taiwan, you talk about how China focus on education and economy vis-a-vis Pakistan didn't do that thing, how China avoided Taiwan war, how it got the Hong Kong issue, and then you spoke about Japan. And towards the ending, Saad Raja told us about positivity, how it leads to habit and character and then targets. So it was the kind of a whole speech. So it was a wonderful speech overall. Some areas of improvement in my opinion: a beginning, you started with a beginning that it is a very important topic, I'm going to discuss a very important topic, and then you give a shade of the difference between influence and concern, 1 or 2 lines, and then you came towards your personal story. In my opinion, the beginning should not have much of a transition. 1, 2, 3. It should have been a compact beginning. If you want to start with your personal story, come directly with 1991, that particular date, and we won. We were very happy to won a land dispute case in our favor. That can be because not jumping into right at the beginning. In my opinion, it was an overloaded speech because it was covering so many topics within one topic. Number third, in my opinion, stage movement. You were continuously standing on one position, although you were looking at all aspects, but not using the stage properly. Perhaps you should be using the stage properly. That will give you more pauses to your speech. Third thing, standing posture. Generally, you stand like this. It's a good thing, but if you stand like this, you will have the audience of this side and that side as well. So you will be equally distributed towards all of your audience. Overall, it was a great speech. Keep coming and keep inspiring us. Thank you so much for wonderful speech. So smart.